kind of knew that a plain and ugly person like you was never meant for the son of a CEO like Abel. Don't you feel the same way? That's kind of why I'd like you to give up on that wedding with him now. All you'll be doing to yourself by having it is making yourself even more embarrassed, right? Huh? What's all this about now, Astrid? As a longtime friend of yours, I thought I'd just tell you the truth straight up. Everyone else around you are all being way too kind, trying to be nice to you and not hurt your feelings about this, right? How great you must feel to have an honest friend like me around, right? Now, as a way of appreciating that, could you please listen to what helpful advice I've given you? Helpful advice? None of what you've said to me was helpful in any way at all, though. All you're doing is sending me some really rude texts right before my wedding of all things. And as for who I'm getting married to and what they have to do with me, it has nothing to do with you at all, right? Marrying the son of a really successful CEO is not something that suits you, Helen. I like to think that someone like you is far better off marrying a man working in trades or some other dirty work. Huh? What the hell are you trying to say about me right now? What do you think you're going to achieve by coming to me and saying such things? Do you find it fun to say rude things to me now? What? Why is it so hard for you to understand how kind I'm being right now? We are longtime friends, aren't we? That's why I'm saying all of these things out of the kindness of my heart. You should be thanking me for doing that. You just called me ugly and plain, as well as not being fit for someone like my fiance. What about all of those things was very kind of you, and what should I be thanking you for? None of what you're saying is making any sense at all right now, Astrid. Well, it's not like there's any reason for you to be getting prepared for marriage anyway, because you're never going to be able to get married to a man of that caliber. Ugh. If all you want to do here today is talk down to me about what I'm doing and the person that I am, then how about you just stop and find something better to do with your time? I hope you're looking forward to what's going to happen tomorrow. I would like to say that to you, actually. By the way, did I even invite you to my wedding in the first place? I'll see you tomorrow. I really have no clue what all of that was just about. Just cut it out with all that crazy weird stuff and go do something else with your time, please. You're just creating a larger boundary between you and I is all. Goodbye now. I know it's only 10 minutes before your wedding is supposed to start, but I'll be taking your fiance from you now. Having now just lost your groom to me in such a sad way, I hope you live the rest of your life in despair. Huh? Once again, I have zero clue what all you're going on about right now, so do you care to explain? Your groom, Abel, ended up choosing me over you because I'm better. I guess he never really was into you all that much. By the way, when you put yourself and me side by side, of course any man would want to choose me. And Abel has told me that I'm the woman for him. And no matter how he compares you and I, he can see that I'm far better off becoming the wife of a CEO than you are. Hold on a second, so that means you're with Abel right now? I was just told that Abel went missing a little bit ago, which means that he ran off to be with you now? That's right! You miserable bride. This should put you in your place for once and force you to never try for a man of Abel's type again. But of course, I'll be inviting you out to our wedding soon. So please look forward to the day that will be happening on. There's no way something like this could be happening. I'm cutting ties to you for good after the crap you've pulled this time. You have done something so unimaginable and wrong that I don't think I can even talk to you anymore. You and I are longtime friends, though. It wasn't my fault that you could never understand how ugly and plain you've been. I'm tired of talking with you now, Astrid. There is nothing left that I have to say to a monster like you, so goodbye. Abel, where have you run off to? It's time for the wedding to start now, and you're nowhere to be found yet.
I'm sorry, but I can no longer marry someone like you, Helen. I ended up finding the woman that I've been destined for, so there was nothing else I could do. I learned that you were not the person I was meant to marry at the last minute of all times. So go ahead and cancel that wedding for us, please.
What? Are you seriously saying something like that right now? Are you seriously saying that you are going to leave me for my longtime friend Astrid now?
I don't want to compare the two of you in any way, but the fact that things had to happen like this with one of your longtime friends makes me feel a little bit bad. But I like to think that you and I being together only ever happened so that I could meet her. Had I been able to find Astrid before I ever started to date you, I would have totally chosen her and never had to hurt you like this. There you go. She is the one that I love the most and will be spending the rest of my life with. I love her.
Wow, that is frickin' disgusting.
Huh? Who the hell do you think you are calling this disgusting? I'm just allowing myself to follow my destiny instead of trying to make things work with a woman I was never meant for.
That is not the kind of crap you should be saying to your bride on the day of our wedding, though. Had that been the way you felt about me, you should have told me a whole lot sooner. There would have been time to cancel this wedding weeks in advance, and then all of these guests of ours wouldn't have had to waste their time coming here today. Are you really okay causing them all this trouble now? What are you going to say to your parents when they ask you about all of this? You've really gone and shown us how selfish you are now.
I'm sure that my parents will be just fine with the path that I've chosen. And thank God all this happened before I went to the courthouse with you and legally got married. Now let's both go and live our different lives apart from one another.
Seriously, this is all so insane that I'm not even sure how to feel about any of this anymore. Now all I can think about is how crazy not only you are, but Astrid is, as well as your parents, who I'm sure won't actually give a damn. Just remember that it's not me going to be regretting all of this, but you and your family, Abel. And if you do happen to forget, I'll make sure to come around and remind you all of what you've done.
What are you trying to say you can do to us that'll make us all regret this day? Stop crying like such a bitch now just because I found my true love. Just give it up already and go find yourself a new man who will actually love you, unlike me, and be happy that way. Although it's going to be pretty difficult for you to become as happy as Astrid and I'll be.
Go ahead and say whatever you'd like. I have no reason to be comparing my future with yours, considering you all will be on a completely different level of hell after today. Anyway, go ahead and enjoy that new path you've chosen, asshole. Hey, has the invitation made its way to your place yet? You're going to come out to our wedding for us, right? We happen to be longtime friends with one another after all. Huh? An invitation? Now that you mention it, something like that did come in the mail for me. What? You still haven't taken a look at it yet? Go and open it right now, please. That invitation is for one of your most important friends' weddings, after all. And you promised to come to it no matter what. I have no reason to go anywhere you'll be at. It's only been a little while, and yet you've forgotten what you've done to me already? Oh, and by the way, have you taken a look at today's news by any chance? Why are you trying to change the subject of this conversation on me now? Are you still that upset with me after what happened? Well, whatever it is on TV has nothing to do with me. I am at that point now where nothing will stop me from being as happy as I am. This is going to be the most luxurious wedding ever held. Oh, the most luxurious wedding ever, huh? Let's just hope that can actually happen for you now. Stop acting so jealous about it. If you keep on hating me like that for what I've obtained, then you're going to live the rest of your life in darkness. Are you wanting me to apologize to you for all of this or something? Well, here you go. I'm so sorry that I stole your CEO's son of a fiance from you right before your wedding. But now that wealthy young man that I'm marrying is going to have a very expensive wedding filled with all the most prestigious of guests, so a loser like you has to come as well, all right? So you haven't seen the news about their company going bankrupt? What? It's on the news right now if you turn on a TV. Well, there were talks about that company going under for a while now, so that's nothing new to see. So watching as that company goes bankrupt now is not a shocker. This happened because they lost their contract with my company. Huh? What news are you talking about? You're just joking about all of that, right? Are you that upset with everything I've done to you that you'd lie about my fiance's family now? Not at all. I really don't care about you enough anymore to waste my time doing something as petty as that. I'm just trying to tell you the facts about your fiance's dad's company is all. How about you have a look at the news now? Hold on a second. What kind of news is this? Huh? Are you sure this isn't some kind of fake news that you've made up? Why would anybody care to make up fake news about that company, Astrid? But you know this did all happen after you decided to steal my fiance from me, which led to that contract being ended. I like to think this was a great outcome for myself now that I really think about it. But in your case, this kind of sucks to hear, right? I'm sure that fancy wedding you were planning to have with all of those guests isn't going to be very fun now. Huh? What the hell does that mean? If that wedding isn't going to be as fun as I've been thinking, then what's going to happen to my marriage to Abel? What about all of those prestigious guests his dad was inviting? I've already sent out all of the invitations with Abel for the wedding. Are you trying to make it sound like my wedding is going to have to end up being canceled or something now? I don't even think you're going to have one in the first place. Abel's father just lost his company of all things, which means they won't be able to afford a wedding for you guys anymore. And when it comes to Abel himself, he just lost his job, right? As you can see on the news right now, the CEO of that company ran away. If the banks aren't able to find his father, that means Abel, being the one who is next in line for the position of CEO, will have to take on that responsibility for his father. Well, as his soon-to-be wife, you'll just have to do your best to support him as he struggles, right? What are you talking about? You're saying his dad ran away? There's no way something like that could have happened to that family. Why would a dad like Abel's be willing to run from his own company and leave all of that mess to his son? Could he even be considered a parent for doing something like that? Why are you asking me all of that? Just look at the news, for crying out loud. Asking me is just a waste of both our time, as I don't actually care about that family anymore, you dumbass. Now, because none of that matters to me, go find someone else to cry to. Please. Why, at a time like this? His company went bankrupt. There's no way something like that could be happening. Was it because the company wasn't getting good enough results? I never knew something like that could even happen to a company like theirs. Hey, how about you take a look at the news and stop texting me now? All I've seen is that Abel's father was embezzling money from the company, and no small amount of money either. He was also going and covering up any of the company's faulty product so that he could meet sales goals his company set. And, well, both of those things led to a massive problem on their hands. Sure, my company may have pulled out of that contract last minute, but had we been any later, and things might have bit us in the butt as well over there. What do you mean when you keep saying your company? That company that Abel's father has been running just so happens to be one of the companies I've been watching after for my company, which means we had a contract between one another when it came to business. It was actually because of that contract that I met with Abel and started to talk with him a lot. And whenever he'd tell me about all the details of his father's company, I knew something smelled a bit fishy. So after taking a look into things by myself, I noticed there were plenty of issues with the way Abel's father ran that company, and I went to my boss about it. That led to my boss initiating a proper investigation into Abel's father's company, and soon after that, the issues were completely exposed. What? So, in other words, all of this is your fault! Why are you going to blame me for all of that? I never went and embezzled money from my own company or hid product defects. All I did was come across those issues and bring them up to my boss. The only ones who should be blamed right now are your fiance and your fiance's father. Because of the bad choices they both made, their company sank. Wouldn't you call that them both getting what they were asking for? So you took things that far in order to ruin our wedding? There's no freaking way something like this could happen. I can't believe this. Ruin your wedding? Wasn't it you that waited until 10 minutes before my wedding to tell me that you stole my fiance from me and that he'd no longer be coming back, resulting in my ongoing wedding being ruined? Well, it's not like I held anything against you for that, because you saved me a lot of trouble by ending things between Abel and I. I'm glad I didn't have to become family to some criminals. I'm really happy that I didn't ever have to marry that pile of crap man either. What the hell? Are you making fun of me now? Of course I am. But I wasn't the one who started this, considering you were the first one taking the crap out of me, right? And hey, didn't things end up the way you wanted them to with me? We should both be happy right now with our new lives. Sure, it sucks that your wedding may not happen anymore, but thankfully this happened a bit before your wedding day, so You ended up better than I did when you took my fiance. How could this be any good for me? Tell me right now, what about all of this should be making me happy? You ended up the same as me, right? You didn't have to go through all of that crap like the wedding and marrying criminals, right? Unless what you're saying is... Astrid, did you already get married to Abel at the courthouse or something? You thought I wouldn't be married to him yet? We went to the courthouse a long time ago in order to become husband and wife. Are you serious? Well, now you've really gone and done it to yourself. I didn't think that someone like you could actually be as stupid as that. Who are you calling stupid? I was afraid that someone as miserable as you would try and get back at me by stealing my Abel from me, so we freaked out and got married as soon as we could, which makes all of this your fault now. Do you understand what I mean by that right now? You have gone and ruined my whole life because of that now, so you're going to take responsibility for it. Wait. I didn't know that I was you, too. Well, if that's the case, can I have whatever things you have right now? Your money, your clothing, even your place? What? Well, you just made it sound like I have to take responsibility for you screwing up your own life, right? Which means that I must be you as well. Or are you just that frickin' dumb that you're trying to push your own mistakes off onto someone else? That would be a massive mistake right there if that's the case. You went and did all of that stuff to yourself, so you take responsibility for it. Are you really unaware of the fact that you did all of that to yourself? But then who's going to compensate me for this whole mess? Compensate for your mess, you mean? I don't completely understand. What are you trying to say here? My wedding! If things don't change soon, then I won't be able to have it, right? Who is going to compensate me for that? That's something I don't know about or care to know about. And since it's your wedding, how about you figure that one out? And hey, how about instead of talking to a complete stranger about all your problems, you talk to your husband? You both married one another, so how about you do what husbands and wives do and fix your personal issues yourselves? Anyway, I hope things go well for you guys. Wait a sec, Helen, I'll give you Abel back. Huh? What the hell do you mean you'll give him back? I mean what I just said. I don't need someone like Abel anymore, which is why I'll be handing him back over to you now. But that means you'll have to give me back my peaceful life where I wasn't married to these idiots. I actually have no idea what the hell you're talking about now. Goodbye. I don't need trash like that, so have a good day now. I've got a good life of my own now, so no littering idiots are going to pollute my garden. So goodbye forever now, you crappy longtime friend. And P.S. We aren't friends or anything, so stop talking to me like you know me. I hope you both find a way to make that hell comfortable together.
Helen, do you think you can talk right now? I have something that I'd really like to apologize to you about right now.
No thanks, don't have time for trash like you. And since you are trash and I don't speak to your kind, we won't be able to understand one another anyway. So goodbye now.
Hold on a second, Helen. What the hell am I supposed to do in this situation? Hey! Stop trying to act like you can just leave me here like this. I'm trying to talk with you right now because I've thought everything through, okay?
What the hell do you keep calling me for? Make whatever the hell you have to say quick and then leave me alone.
I made a mistake! My mistake was choosing someone like Astrid over you! I should have just looked away from her and stayed on track to marrying you! I get that this is the worst time to ask this, but could you please forgive me?
Forgive you? Forgive what about you exactly? I'm not mad at you or anything, Abel, so what is there to forgive you for?
What? You're not upset with me? Well, that's freaking great news to my ears. That'll make things a whole lot quicker for me. Let's get married.
Huh? So who was it today that made you hit your head that badly? Because there's no way in hell you could just be asking me that without there being something completely wrong with your head. You're already married to Astrid, aren't you? So you can't marry me now. Oh, wait. Are you just trying to marry me now because your daddy's company fell flat? Seriously, man?
If you can get that contract going again with my father's company, then I'm sure he'll come back to me and take the blame for whatever crimes he committed. So please, let's talk about this all together in a more serious fashion.
Do you have any idea what you'd done before I cut ties to you? I'm not joking here. 10 minutes before our wedding, you ran off with my longtime friend and never came back, which then caused me to have to cancel our wedding and everything. And I'm not just blaming you for that, because Astrid is just as much to blame. But right now, you seem to act like none of that was a big deal to us all, and that you can get my help in saving your daddy's company again.
I know that. I'm sure a lot of that is true. But I've learned my lesson from all of that. And I've learned that Astrid only wanted me for my father's and my money. Choosing her over you was a major mistake of mine that I want to fix now. So Helen, will you please come back to me? I want to become happy with you now, which means I'll go and divorce her right now.
Honestly, men like you are even more crappy than I first thought you'd be.
Why the hell would you say something like that about me? You told me you weren't upset at me, yet that seems to have been a lie now.
I wasn't lying when I said I wasn't mad. I just don't give a damn about you anymore is all. And you and your family's company has nothing to do with me anymore, so to be frank, I just don't care what happens to all of you.
You don't give a damn about me? You and I were gonna get married to one another, yet now you're telling me you don't care about me anymore? Could something like that even be possible?
All right, Abel, let me explain this to you then. When you both went ahead and did something so unthinkable that it actually made my head hurt for a few days, I lost interest in everything that had to do with you. Also, when it comes to your daddy's company going under, that was all due to your daddy's doings. And you being the next in line for the position of CEO should have meant that you'd step in when you saw what he was doing and saved the company you were going to inherit, right? Yet you never could do that even when I warned you to, instead waiting for things to go to hell before asking me to come back. You are nothing more than a fake man and one who should never step near the position of CEO ever again.
You don't have to say all of that to me now. I already know that. But I don't care what all I did then because I just want you back now.
And I strongly decline. Now you stop talking to me forever, you pile of shit. Go find your wife now and burn in hell with her, please. Goodbye forever, you asshat. I know that this might not be the best time for this, but I really want to apologize to you. Shut the hell up. A few weeks ago, your dumbass husband tried what you're doing now, and it's not going to work. And didn't I tell you to never talk to me again? Screw off. I don't care to talk anymore. And as for that apology, go and shove it up your pussy or something. We aren't anything anymore, and we never will be. But I want to become your friend again. And it's all because of that crappy man that our relationship as friends to one another was ruined in the first place, which has left me very sad. I've made sure to leave him now because of that. Ooh, is that right? Well, thank God for that, I guess. Now you won't have to deal with all of his self-inflicted responsibilities anymore, right? Great. But I've already had to deal with them enough. Due to us having been married when he took on all that debt from his dad who ran off, he had to pay out of his own pocket in order to appease the banks, which left him with no money at all, and that meant he could never afford to pay me a settlement in the divorce. How awful, right? And as for my family, they all disowned me, so I have nowhere left to go. Helen, could you please help me? Huh? What? So you came here after I told you to screw off forever, asking for my help of all things? Are you actually serious right now? What makes you think I'd ever help your ass? You already know you're helpless, don't you? I don't have anyone to ask for help anymore. You're the only person in my phone that hasn't blocked me yet and I can still get in touch with. You can understand why, right? I promised to apologize, so please. Allow me to say this. I have never once thought of you as anything more than an annoying bitch, okay? What? What do you mean by that? Sure, we lived close to one another when we were little, which meant we always were playing around one another. But I always saw you as this little pain in the ass and nothing else. Remember how you'd always take all my things from my house and break them all? I always hated you for being such an asshole, but now that we're adults, I've learned to just forget about you entirely. You're lying, right? I thought you were one of my closest friends. Sorry, but I never thought that about you and have never wanted to talk to you. You're probably the most annoying person I had to deal with growing up, so now I can say that you need to go screw yourself for what you've done. Now that you've been told that, how about leaving me alone and dealing with all that yourself? And one other thing, stop acting like such a selfish bitch, please. If you want people to stay around you, you have to act like you're actually worth being around in the first place. Anyway, good luck with all of that. And this time, I'm just going to delete all of your contact info after blocking you. So goodbye forever! After having gone and told Astrid how I have truly felt about her all these years, I was able to block her and delete her contact in my phone. And from what my parents have told me back in her family's neighborhood, her parents weren't kidding about disowning her. And so when she tried to step back into their house, they yelled at her to screw off, calling her an embarrassment to everyone in that neighborhood. Right now she's out there somewhere working a few jobs, trying to make up all the money she had to lose renting her own place and moving far away from the rest of us. I know that I really don't have to think about what happened with her anymore, but I really am thankful that she got in the way of my marriage with Abel and saved me from all that needless hell. And what happened with Abel, you might be asking? Well, he ended up being stuck with all the crimes his father had committed in the company, as he was always there to witness them taking place, and that would leave him in a lot of debt after paying all the legal fees and fines off. His father never could be found, and based off his spending, he has bought a one-way ticket to Russia and took his wife with him in order to never be found again. I'm not sure what all has happened with Abel since the divorce, but from what some of my friends have told me, he ended up selling his parents' home in order to get the money to pay off his debts, and has gone and left town in order to start a new life. I'm not sure how well things are going to go for him out there, but considering his name was all over the news like his father's, he can probably forget about ever finding a company job like the one he had ever again. As for right now, I'm going to go out there and find someone else who can make me happy, and I mean make me really happy. And of course, considering I'll never have to hear from those dumbasses anymore, I'll be happy no matter where I go or who I'm with next. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.